Our country has seen issues and service delivery problems in many provinces. Now, the latest figures from the IEC show 14 million unregistered young South Africans. So why aren't they voting? What's going on here? On the line is Tessa Dooms, who's the director at the Rivonia Circle. Hi, Tessa. Good morning. Welcome to 702.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Right. Why do you think, 14 million youngsters don't want to vote? What's going on?
You know, a young man in KZN said to us last year in the Rivonia Circle, the problem with elections and with the democracy is that we get the vote, but somebody else gets the democracy. The politicians seem to get the democracy. Politicians have taken over voting and the elections in a way that centers themselves. It is a competition about them and their power, not us and our power. Many young people just don't feel like the vote is going to get them the kind of life and the kind of outcomes that they need, because we've not been able to link who we vote for and what that vote outcome is in terms of who wins with who actually delivers for us as people. And so people are just disillusioned about it. I think politicians are more excited about the contest than they actually are about governing afterwards.
Yeah, so how do we get youngsters then involved? Because you've got to get their interest. Youngsters are playing computer games and doing all sorts of other things. They're not voting. What do we do?
Yeah, I would tell you that it's a very small percentage of young people that are playing computer games rather than voting. The majority of them are trying to look for work instead of voting. And that's just the reality of our lives. The reality is people are trying to survive this country. And what we need to do is take very seriously what this election represents. The election represents the opportunity to hire and fire politicians. And we as the citizenry are going to have very difficult conversations with each other about how we ensure the highest quality of hiring and firing, the highest quality of participation, that we feel more empowered than we do right now. As I said, in previous years, the election has been this glorified roadshow of politicians, having parties and trying to convince us that they're the most superior person to win, as if we're just talking about a game that they're winning. This election is about life and death for South Africans, and we must decide that we are going to take seriously the conditions under which we are willing to vote, and say that the integrity of this election is important. So what the issues are must come from us as the voter, and certainly we must decide what the quality of people are we are willing to give our X to. We cannot make this a process that is just superfluous and about political parties holding parties and rallies and having fun. It can't happen.
Perhaps then we need to change our focus, Tessa. Perhaps what we could do is have the IEC and others having campaigns saying, if you want to have a job, vote. If you want to do well in life, vote. If you want a country without crime and a future, vote. Perhaps the focus just changes.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is not about whether you want parties to win or lose. We must make these elections about the big issues in our country and talk about what those issues are. I've been hosting something called Voters Conversations and Voters Caucuses, both through the Rivonia Circle and personally, because I want us to understand that if we don't set the parameters, the politicians are just going to sell us slogans. We must say to them, this is the solution that we want. If we want a basic income, lobby for a basic income grant. If we want a land and housing plan, let's ask them for land and housing plans. But we can't do that if we're not registered, because politicians are only going to listen to us if we show up in numbers.
Current events, developing stories,
tough questions,
your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.